They wanted to deliver groceries to people's homes. In 1999, they were told it was madness. 2 years later, they went bankrupt after burning more than $1 billion. And today, this is how the entire world lives. This is the story of Webvan, a company that arrived too early. The story of Webvan does not begin in a garage or with inexperienced dreamers. It begins with a man who had already proven that he could build large-scale businesses. Louis Borders, co-founder of the Borders Group bookstore chain, was one of the early pioneers of using computer systems in retail during the 1970s and 1980s. Borders was among the first retailers to adopt digital inventory management and data-driven logistics at a time when most competitors still relied on manual processes. This belief in technology as the foundation of efficiency shaped Borders' entire worldview. By the mid-1990s, as the Internet began entering everyday life, Borders saw it not simply as a new sales channel, but as a force capable of completely rebuilding retail from the ground up. He closely watched Amazon, which started with books but quickly demonstrated that physical stores were no longer essential. Borders came to a simple but radical conclusion. If anyone could move grocery shopping online, it would be the final and most difficult frontier of digital retail. In 1996, together with several partners, he began developing the idea that would become Webvan. The company was officially founded in 1996, but its explosive growth phase began at the end of the decade, when venture capital flooded Silicon Valley at an unprecedented scale. From the very beginning, Webvan positioned itself not as a delivery service, but as an entirely new grocery infrastructure. Its model rejected traditional supermarkets, retail rent, and in-store customer interaction. Instead, Webvan envisioned centralized automated fulfillment centers, proprietary logistics, and complete control over the supply chain. In 1999, Webvan went public. The IPO took place at the absolute peak of the dot-com bubble, when markets were eager to buy shares in almost any company associated with the Internet. Webvan raised approximately $375 million in its initial public offering alone, bringing total funding to more than $800 million. At its peak, Webvan's market capitalization reached nearly $4.8 billion. For a company with minimal revenue and no clear path to profitability, the valuation was extraordinary. At the same time, Webvan launched one of the most aggressive expansion strategies of the dot-com era. The company planned to enter up to 26 major U.S. metropolitan areas within just a few years, including New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Dallas, and Washington, D.C. The backbone of this strategy was massive automated warehouses. Each facility cost between $35 and $40 million to build and was designed for volumes that Webvan would never reach. These centers featured complex conveyor systems, custom software for order picking, refrigerated zones, and highly specialized logistics workflows. Webvan also invested tens of millions of dollars into building its own proprietary IT systems from scratch instead of using existing solutions. While this provided flexibility and control, it dramatically increased costs and operational complexity. In 2000, Webvan made another critical move by acquiring its main competitor, Home Grocer, in a stock-based deal valued at approximately $1.2 billion. Home Grocer operated grocery delivery services in several U.S. regions. Rather than reducing costs or improving efficiency, the merger added further complexity and financial strain to an already fragile business. Operational problems quickly became impossible to ignore. The cost of fulfilling a single order often exceeded $100, while the average customer order generated far less revenue. Delivery expenses, labor costs, fuel, warehouse maintenance, and food spoilage consumed any potential margin. Later analyses showed that Webvan attempted to achieve economies of scale before proving that its unit economics worked at all. Warehouses often operated at only 20 to 30% of capacity, yet required full staffing and maintenance regardless of demand. There were also cultural and behavioral barriers. In 1990 and 2000, most Americans did not trust online payments, lacked reliable high-speed internet access at home, and did not view grocery shopping as a problem that needed solving. The convenience Webvan promised simply did not outweigh existing habits. When the dot-com bubble burst in 2000, Webvan's situation became critical. Capital markets dried up. Investors demanded a clear path to profitability. Banks stopped extending credit. In 2001, Webvan filed for bankruptcy protection under Chapter 11. The company shut down shortly afterward. More than 2,000 employees lost their jobs. Investor losses exceeded $1.2 billion. Almost overnight, Webvan went from being hailed as the future of retail to becoming a cautionary tale. Business schools began using the company as an example of what happens when scale comes before validation. Excessive capital, untested assumptions, and expansion without demand destroyed the business. Louis Borders largely disappeared from the public spotlight after the collapse. He later acknowledged that Webvan's greatest mistake was attempting massive expansion before confirming real consumer adoption. In the years that followed, he launched new ventures, but never again with the same ambition to transform an entire industry overnight. The irony of Webvan is that many of its ideas were correct. Automated fulfillment centers, scheduled delivery windows, centralized logistics. These concepts later became standard for Amazon, Walmart, Instacart, and other global delivery platforms. The difference was timing. Webvan did not fail because the idea was wrong. It failed because the world was not ready. It was a business from the future, launched in the past. The market does not reward those who arrive first. It rewards those who arrive at the right moment. Webvan paid more than $1 billion to learn that lesson.